Hey girl, hey. I want to ask you something. When you picture testosterone, what comes to mind? Probably not you. Probably maybe not perimenopause. Probably not the reason your drive for basically everything, sex, the gym, your career, your ambition. Quietly maybe got up and left the building. But here's the thing. Our bodies, yeah, girl, they produce testosterone. We always have. And when it starts to decline in perimenopause, which can start in our 30s, nobody really mentions it. Nobody connects the dots. I'm Stacy Lenae, and today we're talking testosterone. What it actually does in the female body, what happens when it starts to shift, and what you need to know before you ever bring this up to your doctor. Let's go. Did you know our bodies produce three times more testosterone than estrogen before menopause? It is made in the ovaries and the adrenal glands, and also your peripheral tissue. So let's start here. Before menopause, our bodies were producing 3 times more testosterone than estrogen. Yeah, you heard me right. 3 times more. It is made in our ovaries, by our adrenal glands, and in peripheral tissue. Throughout the body, which is why testosterone doesn't always seem to fall off a cliff. Not the way estrogen does in perimenopause, because it's not only coming from the ovaries. But here's what that also means. Testosterone has always been a part of how we function. It was never just a male hormone, and we just happen to have a little bit of it. It's ours, and it has a job to do. So, what is that job? Let's talk about it. The most well-known role of testosterone in our bodies, in women, is libido, aka sex drive. Yeah, that's real. If the thought of sex has just stopped occurring to you, well, first of all, you're not alone. Hi, or maybe the idea of it just sounds like entirely too much work to even think about, let alone do something about. That's not just you and your stress. That is likely declining testosterone has showed up in the picture, moved into the house, whatever. But testosterone also helps us maintain muscle mass. And muscle mass matters more than we were taught. Nobody is surprised. Because the more muscle you have, the stronger your bones are. And you need bone strength to make it through till your 90s, if that's how long you want to live, without fracturing or injuring your bones, without breaking something. So when testosterone declines, we can lose muscle more easily, and that accelerates our risk for osteopenia and eventually osteoporosis. Some clinical work has shown that it may support your cognitive performance and memory. While the research is still limited and honestly underfunded, clinicians report hearing from their patients that it's when testosterone is added that some women notice real improvements in memory and short-term recall. Yeah, so the research is actually starting to catch up with what we are saying and experiencing. And then there's this. Testosterone is a precursor to estrogen. Your body needs it. Your body needs testosterone to make estrogen in the first place. Talk about a full circle moment. So it's not just doing its own job, it's literally enabling the whole system. So what does testosterone actually feel like? Let's get this clear. Low sex drive is the headline, but low testosterone is associated with anxiety, irritability, fatigue, depression, memory changes, and insomnia. How delightful. So tell me if this sounds familiar, because it should, and it probably will. Almost every one of those symptoms is going to show up for low estrogen and low progesterone, which is exactly why testosterone decline goes unrecognized. It just gets folded into everything else. And here's an important nuance. Testosterone decline doesn't happen as predictably as estrogen and progesterone. Some of us will have a gradual decline. Some of us won't notice a major shift, not until later. And some women, approximately about 10%, will actually see testosterone rise during perimenopause as the adrenals start to compensate. And that can show up as new chin hairs, acne, or androgen-related changes. So, not a one-size-fits-all situation. It's a check your levels situation. So, if you're thinking, okay, I want to take this to my doctor, here's what you need to know to get started. There is no FDA-approved testosterone product for women, not in the US. The Menopause Society endorses it for low libido. The International Menopause Society also endorses it for low libido. And there is still no approved product. Not a small issue. So what does that mean practically? It means that most perimenopausal wear clinicians prescribe a low-dose version of the male formulation, gels like Androgel or Testosterone. I have both. At about 1/10 of the male dose. Or they work with a compounding pharmacy to create a gel that is tailored to female dosing. I'm sure you've probably heard of pellets, and those are injected under the skin. They deliver a high dose and cannot be removed. They aren't covered by insurance, they're costly, and if you have a reaction, there's no way to stop it. And most experts advise against them. So if your provider leads with pellets before mentioning any other option, pause and tell them you'd like to have a discussion. Also know that's information about them. One more thing worth knowing is that a low blood level of testosterone does not automatically mean that you need treatment. Research shows that blood levels don't always correlate with symptoms. So, again, this is a conversation about how you feel, not just what labs say. I know that sounds familiar, right? We probably, more than likely, you were not taught, not just we, you, me, we were not taught that testosterone is part of the picture, part of the hormonal picture. We were not taught that losing it could affect our drive. And I don't mean in your car drive. It can affect our muscle, our brain, our bones, and our mood. Nobody mentioned that. So, now you know. So, if this opened up something for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it as well, please. And if you missed the last video, progesterone versus progestin, that one, in my opinion, is essential. And your link's in the description. Let's have these convos. Drop me a message. Let's talk about it. Tell me what is going on with you, because I read all your messages and I respond to them personally. Nothing I share on here is medical advice. I am not a doctor. I am not your doctor. I am a holistic nutrition student going through this in real time as a mother of 2 adult daughters. And girl, if you haven't done something to love yourself today, please go do that. And if you don't know what that looks like, send me another DM. I will help a girl out. All my love.